Okay, I sent you a chord sheet for Moondance. We talked about in the earlier video the opening chords and the varieties and the different ways that we could approach that. So I assume that you have an understanding of that. So on the sheet there we see that we have the chords, the A minor to the E11 or B minor 7, whatever you're using. They all work as explained earlier. And then after we play that the one time, we repeat that 15 more times for a total of 16. And that is from the time he starts singing, okay? There's probably an additional 4 measures for the intro. But once he starts singing, you'll play that chord pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 16, the one written plus the 15 more. After that, it's going to go to a D minor 7. Now, here are some options. I mean, we're on this A minor, or you may be using this A minor or that A minor, whichever you're using. When we go to the D minor 7, the one I would recommend using is would be tabbed starting on the A string, 5th fret, 5, nothing on the D string, and then 5 on the G string, 6 on the B string, and then 5 on the E string. So going from the low E, we would have nothing, 5, nothing, 5, 6, 5. I can't remember if we've spoken about that chord before or not. That would be a D minor 7. And I'm kind of kicking out this low E string with the top of my first finger. Like that. And then kind of kicking out the D string with the other part of that finger. So we can use that D minor 7. Or if we're using this A minor form here, we could just drop down into a D minor bar chord, which tabbed from the bottom would be 5, 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, just a standard D minor bar chord. Okay, if we want to make it a D minor 7, we lift up the pinky. Okay? Sometimes when you lift up that pinky, it's actually hard to get the first finger to accentuate or activate that, that note that you're going back to on the bar, because a lot of times that's kind of stuck here in the, in the joints, and you don't really get a good push on it. So you don't really get that note. That's why I like to use this, which intentionally, that's the note in question. It picks up that note. It's a little bit more, to get to that. But depending on where you're coming from, with a little practice, I'll go to it. You see, just kind of, once again, the key, you kind of are becoming familiar with the keys of making smooth chord changes. Just kind of slide down into it, keep the fingers close to the neck, or if you're coming from here, from the from this A minor 7, just dropping down into it. But anyway, you'll have your choice there. So when it comes to the D minor 7, you can actually just use the straight D minor, which is easy to play. You can do the D minor 7 by picking up the pinky off of that form, or you can use this D minor 7. Okay, that's your choice. And then as you can see from there, it goes back and forth, D minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, and then E7. Okay? So go back and forth between the D minor 7 and the A minor 7, however it works for you. When we get to the E7, we'll use this here on, once again, still in 5th position, tabbed from the low E string. It would be 7, nothing, 6, 7, 5. 7, nothing, 6, 7, 5. Okay? So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking that E7, which could also be tabbed nothing, 7, 6, 7, 5, and which would also be an E7, but I'm taking that ring finger and putting this bass note in instead. It makes it a little easier to play. Now you'll see there's 3 lines below the D minor 7 and 3 lines below the E minor 7. That's that part of the song, and we'll listen to it in a minute where he goes ba, 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 da, da, da. Right? I'm going to play through one verse pretty soon here, the whole thing. And then as you see, then we're back to that A minor D7 again. But this time, it's only 2 beats each. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., till you finally get to the last measure where it says A minor 7 to E7. So that'd be A minor 7 to E7. And then we basically just go back to the top and play through the entire thing again. Okay? So you need to decide. One of the big decisions is deciding on a way to play that A minor 7 to D7. I do highly recommend this form. It's worth the practice, but you also want to be aware of the other forms just because you want to be aware of them. But you make your decision there. There's, if you use any of the choices we've discussed, there is not a wrong answer there. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through the song, but I'm going to slow it down to 3/4, just so you can follow along a little bit easier. So we'll have the intro, and I'll be going back and forth between these 2 chords, and I'll use a variety of options there because we talked about there's several ways to go back and forth. And once again, there's no need to imitate what I'm doing. Find what works for you. After I do that, the total of 16 times, once the vocal starts, then I'll switch off to the D minor. And the first couple of times that you're listening to this, just follow along. Just follow along on the sheet and watch and make sure you know where you are in the music. When you get to that second part where the D minor starts, you'll know there's a good indication of where you are when you get to that D minor 7, E7, because you'll hear those accents. Okay? And then it goes on between the A minor, D minor 7. And so I think you'll be able to follow along. So here we go. I may adjust the volume as we go, but you'll be able to follow along. So there's the intro. He's going to start singing here right now. Here we go. Well, it's a marvelous night for a romance with the stars of the world in your eyes. Fantabulous night to make romance beneath the cover of October skies. With all the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the music they play. Yeah, I'm trying to please to the calling of your heartstrings that play soft and low. Here we go. Yet all the night's magic seem to whisper and hate. Yet all the summer lights here's the accents. shine in your blush. Back to the top. Okay? Apologize, I seem to be a little out of tune with the recording, but that's okay. When you get to that third section where it's going from the A minor to the D minor 7, only 2 beats each, The accent that best works for that, I'm going to play through that section here just by itself, is kind of like a 1, 2, and 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 1, 2. That's the A minor 7 to the E7 there at the end. I'm going to play that again, coming in. So this comes after those accents. 1, 2, and 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 1, 2, 1, 2. So the rhythm that I'm using through that section is actually the same rhythm as the beginning of the song. It's that bum, bum, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and. Okay? So it's actually the same rhythm as the first part of the song. So there you go. That's the rest of the chords for that song, and then we'll talk a little bit more about improvising over that. But get those chords under your belt, get so you can follow along pretty well with the song, and then we'll talk more about improvising over these chord changes. Have a good one.